Happy Friday and happy Fridays with Fidelman. I'm Cheryl Fidelman, the Conscious Codependence Coach, and I took a little summer break and I'm really psyched to be back in your inbox. And what I've been thinking about a lot this summer is freedom. And I've been formulating these thoughts for the last couple of weeks to come back to Fridays with Fidelman and sort of share my thoughts about codependence and freedom. So that's the topic of today's video. Today's Fridays with Fidelman is codependence and freedom, and how we may unconsciously be doing or demonstrating codependent behavior because what we think is on the other side of it is some sort of freedom. But so we are on the treadmill, remaining in the hook of codependent habits, thinking it's going to give us some freedom or liberation on the other side of it, but really it's suffocating us and giving us the exact opposite. And so conscious codependence recovery, moving towards independence of being, inner peace and sovereignty, is ultimately our freedom and liberation. It's actually not within other people. Like, our liberation is not in somebody else. And even though I've been doing this work for so long, teaching it and in my own recovery, I think I've known this, but I just got it like on a whole nother level this summer. So, all right, thank you for coming back and listening to my video. I'm psyched to be here with you. Codependence and freedom. Please like or subscribe to my channel. And all right, here we go. So for those of you who are familiar with my work, and for those of you who are not, I have what I call my 3 tenets of conscious codependence: the want to be wanted, the need to be needed, and or the need to prove oneself. And you can go to www.cherylfidelman.com to get your free PDF of my 3 tenets if you haven't already. The reason why I'm bringing up my 3 tenets is because I think that when we are in a codependent act, codependent habit, when we're demonstrating codependent behavior, that we are not free. I'm adding this piece to it. Maybe that was obvious to all of you this whole time, but it's just become more obvious to me because in my own deep work this summer, I just went in like another layer deeper, peeled more layers of the onion, if you will. And also what I want to say is you're free to either pause this video right now or just take some time to think, what is freedom to you? Because freedom may be different for all of us. And I know for myself that freedom has always been so important to me. I always wanted to be free and unique and walk my own path and have my own thoughts and not walk the line of any system or any structure. And at some point in my life, I realized I didn't have freedom. Freedom had me. Because I was so focused on being structureless and traditionalist that I was like, I wasn't accomplishing anything. And so, it is, I think, on some level important to be taken by some level of structure in order to fulfill on what is liberating for you, in order to fulfill on your own form of self-freedom and liberation. So, so saying all of that, I think that codependence sucks away our liberation, because we often think, like, let's look at the 3rd tenet of conscious codependence, the need to prove oneself. Well, if I prove this to you, then I'm free. If I prove my goodness, if I prove my identity, if I prove that I agree with you, even if I don't agree with you, or I prove that you did this to me, you made me feel this way, or I prove that I know what you're thinking. Anything that I'm looking to prove, I'm proving it because of my codependent righteousness. And if I prove it and I'm right, then I'm liberated, I'm vindicated, I'm free. Same with the need to be needed, right? I need you to hear me. I need you to see me. I need you to understand me. I need you to see me as innocent. I need you to see my worth and my value. And so all of these things are what I call the illusion of needs. So they're not actually real needs. They might be preferences or luxuries or desires, but they're not actually a real need. But we get hooked on these needs from other people because they feel like I can't survive without you meeting that particular existential need of mine. And so I get hooked on wanting to be wanted by you, or needing to be needed by you, or proving some version of myself, partly because what I unconsciously think on the other side of my codependent behavior is my own freedom and my own liberation. And mostly when it comes from a codependent point of view, I just want to be free and liberated in your eyes. So you're seeing me, you're getting me, you're liking me, you're wanting me, you're needing me, you're getting what I'm trying to prove. All of that would give me freedom and liberation. As opposed to living in our own sense of freedom and liberation and bringing our free, sovereign, and liberated self to anyone and anywhere. So if you can write in the comments for me, or you can email me, does that resonate with you? That we get hooked into this codependent behavior because our sense of freedom is hooked on another person. And sometimes it's not always existential freedom. It's financial freedom, right? Well, if I prove this thing to this person, then they're going to give me the money that I want, that I need, or that they promised me. Or if I disappear or play the victim or prove that I need or I'm worth, or I get the money that they owe me. So sometimes it's financial. Sometimes it's time, right? Well, if I prove X, Y, and Z, then they're going to spend time with me. Or if I prove X, Y, and Z, then they're going to relieve me of my guilt. And when they relieve me of my guilt, when they relieve me of my guilt, I am going to be free. Or if you remember the distinction of my work of future tripping, right? So future tripping is a big thing for those of us codependents, where we future trip a few chess plays ahead. Well, if I say this, then they're going to say that, and they're going to say that, and they're going to think that about me. So I'm just going to be comfortable in my repression right now. And so a lot of that is proving so that we can be free. Because a lot of us think in our codependent moments, well, if I speak up, I'm not going to be free. Because if I speak up, they're going to be mad at me. And then if they're mad at me, I'm hooked even more into the situation. So I'm not going to be free. So if I'm self-expressed, they're going to be more self-expressed than me and then overtake me and overpower me, and it's going to get even worse. And so then I'm not going to be free. And so we future trip other people's communication and then repress and take away our own communication so that we can have some sense of freedom. And so I'm just going to pause there, and we're going to have our free and monthly Conscious Codependence class next week, where we're going to go over this topic. We're going to go over codependence and freedom. Another piece is, I want to add this piece too, is people in relationships, well, they see, well, if I break up with this person, maybe I won't be free, but I don't even feel free in the relationship. Or being alone feels less free. I'd rather compromise XYZ about myself in this relationship than actually be alone and be in a relationship with myself. So we give up our relationship with ourselves, or some of us never even developed a relationship with ourselves. So it actually feels more free to be sucking on somebody else's oxygen than our own, because we don't have our own oxygen mask. We don't have a relationship with ourselves. So we'll go into all of that and more. Codependence and freedom is our topic of our free and monthly Conscious Codependence class next week. The 3 Tenets of Conscious Codependence book is majorly under development. I'm starting our next Trauma to Truth program, which is my expedited codependence recovery program that is developed around my methodology that I've developed for conscious codependence recovery. Begins in just a few weeks. So if you're interested in that program, please email me, write to me. It starts soon. If you don't want to do a long program, I also have a couple of VIP days, which are like super powerful one-shot days for your codependence recovery with like a couple of pre and post sessions that hover around your one VIP day. All right, everybody. So glad to be back to Fridays with Fidelman. Thank you again for listening to my thoughts, theories, and rants, and including my mind and my ideas on your healing journey. And happy healing, and life is now.